Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual. My name is Utsav Parekh and here are the top stories of the day. Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba is on a two-day visit to India. He arrived in India's capital New Delhi this morning. Kuleba will meet with his Indian counterpart S. Jaishankar and other officials tomorrow. During the meeting, they're expected to hold talks on bilateral partnerships and issues of mutual interest. North Korean media has said that Russia's spy chief visited Pyongyang earlier this week. They said that the head of Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service met with North Korea's State Security Minister. The two officials discussed boosting cooperation against what they called hostile forces. Russian President Vladimir Putin visited a military base yesterday. Putin was seen walking with officers and inspecting new helicopter systems and missiles. Putin's visit follows the Moscow concert hall shooting last week. The Lebanon-based Hezbollah group said it launched dozens of rockets at the northern Israeli town of Kiryat Shmona. A factory worker was killed during the strike. Hezbollah said this was in response to deadly Israeli strikes in southern Lebanon a day earlier. Israel and Hezbollah have been trading cross-border fire since the October 7th Hamas attack. Israel has asked the US to reschedule a meeting that was cancelled earlier this week. This is according to the White House. The meeting will be held to discuss Israel's military plans in Gaza's Rafah city. On Tuesday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had cancelled the high-level meeting. This was after the US chose not to veto a resolution by the United Nations Security Council calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. A US delegation visited Taiwan this morning. It reiterated America's continued support for the self-governed island. The delegation also highlighted the importance of continued strategic cooperation between Taipei and Washington. This comes amid rising tensions between Taiwan and China. Former U.S. Senator Joe Lieberman has died at the age of 82. He passed away in New York after suffering complications from a fall. Lieberman was Al Gore's running mate during the hotly contested presidential election in the year 2000. The bodies of two people have been recovered from the site of the bridge collapse in the U.S. city of Baltimore. 4 others remain missing and are presumed dead. The missing people were part of a crew filling potholes on the bridge's road surface. They plunged into the water as the bridge collapsed after being hit by a cargo ship. Thailand is moving closer to legalizing same-sex unions. The country's parliament has overwhelmingly approved a marriage equality bill. The bill still requires approval from the Thai Senate and an endorsement from the king before it becomes law. If it passes, Thailand will become the third Asian territory to legalize same-sex unions. France sent helicopters to evacuate some of its citizens from Haiti. The operation allowed for the evacuation of France's most vulnerable citizens. Foreign departures from Haiti have picked up recently. This comes as the country's political future hangs in limbo amid rising gang violence. Puerto Rico has declared a public health emergency. There has been a significant increase in the number of dengue cases on the island. This year, dengue cases have increased in a season when they are usually not seen. Since the beginning of the year, 549 cases have been recorded in Puerto Rico. Colombia has ordered the expulsion of Argentine diplomats from the country. This follows Argentine President Javier Milei's comments on Colombian President Gustavo Petro. In a recent interview, Milei reportedly called Petro a terrorist, murderer, and communist. Ecuadorian police forces dispersed dozens of anti-mining protesters who were demonstrating outside the country's environment ministry in the capital, Quito. The protesters were demonstrating in support of the residents of an Ecuadorian town called Palo Quemada. Quemado residents have opposed the Ecuadorian government's plans to allow the mining of gold, silver and copper in the town. They say the mines could damage the local environment and harm water resources in the area. In climate news, a wave of wildfires in Mexico have claimed at least 4 lives. At present, around 116 forest fires are burning across the country. Meanwhile, 400 fires have been recorded in Mexico since the 15th of March. These have torched more than 13,000 hectares of land across Mexico. Heavy rainfall caused flash floods in Portugal's capital, Lisbon, yesterday. The rain blocked streets and caused traffic jams in the city. The Lisbon Fire Department registered some 160 traffic disruptions. Meanwhile, several buildings were also flooded due to overflowing water from drain pipes. The U.S. is expected to see an above-average hurricane season in 2024. This is according to the U.S. weather forecaster AccuWeather. The agency has projected that around 20 to 25 storms will develop in the Atlantic basin this year. This includes 8 to 12 hurricanes as well. As per AccuWeather, 4 to 6 hurricanes are expected to directly hit the U.S. The U.S. has introduced new regulations to curb natural gas waste. The new rules ask oil and gas companies to reduce venting and flaring. Venting is the practice of directly releasing natural gas generated during oil extraction into the atmosphere. Flaring is the process of burning that natural gas. Under the new rules, oil and gas companies will be required to use measures to avoid these practices. Sewage spills in the UK were at a record high in 2023. This is according to the country's Environment Agency. It noted that over 400,000 sewage spills were reported last year. Climate activists say the British government has allowed water companies to dump untreated wastewater into rivers. This has caused a rise in water pollution across the UK. Households around the world threw away 1 billion meals every single day in 2022. This is according to the latest report by the United Nations. The report says that food was wasted at a time when nearly 800 million people were going hungry. Food waste has one of the largest greenhouse gas footprints. It emits 5 times more carbon than the global aviation sector. Global warming has slightly slowed the Earth's rotation. The melting of polar ice has caused the Earth to spin slower than it would otherwise. This is according to a new study published by the scientific journal Nature. The report says that as ice melts due to global warming, it redistributes the Earth's mass. This in turn causes a change in the Earth's spinning speed. On to business and tech news. The Japanese currency, the yen, fell to a 34-year low against the US dollar yesterday. The yen fell below 151.97 against the US dollar. Following this, Japan's 3 main monetary authorities held an emergency meeting. This includes the Bank of Japan, the Finance Ministry, and the Financial Services Agency. They have suggested an intervention in the currency market to control the yen's movement. The U.S. State Department is offering up to $10 million as a reward. This is to get information on a hacker group called Black Cat. Black Cat has been accused of targeting the U.S. insurance giant United Health Group last month. The group allegedly breached parts of United Health's information network. The cyber attack interrupted millions of insurance transactions in the country. A U.S. court has said that pharma giant Johnson & Johnson can challenge the scientific evidence that linked its talc to ovarian cancer. This comes as a new judge was appointed in the case, which has been ongoing since 2016. Johnson & Johnson is accused of using cancer-causing ingredient asbestos in its talcum powder products. The recent order is expected to disrupt more than 53,000 lawsuits that the company is facing over its talc. Media giant Fox has announced a major restructuring of its entertainment business. Fox's entertainment business has been consolidated into three key segments. This includes entertainment, television and streaming platforms, and worldwide sales and licensing business. Fox Entertainment will be headed by Fernando Siu, while the Fox Television Network will be led by Michael Thorne. The firm is still looking for the head of the sales and licensing business. Meanwhile, U.S. consumer products firm Kimberly-Clark has also announced a reorganization plan. The move aims to simplify the firm's business and cut down its expenses. The company says it will slash its workforce in order to save costs. However, the firm did not reveal the number of workers that will be laid off. Japanese carmaker Subaru is recalling over 118,000 cars in the U.S. This is due to a faulty sensor in the car's airbags. A U.S. road safety regulator has said that the faulty sensor can prevent airbags from opening during a crash. The recalls include certain models of the Subaru Outback and Legacy cars. Swedish fashion retailer H&M has reported stronger than expected first quarter profits in 2024. The firm has posted a profit of $196 million. This is well above the $134 million that analysts had projected. However, H&M reported that its sales declined by 2% during the quarter. The Swedish fashion giant has been struggling to maintain its market position amid competition from Zara and China's Shein. Sam Bankman-Fried, the founder of the bankrupt cryptocurrency exchange FTX, will receive his jail sentence today. Bankman-Fried has been convicted for his role in the collapse of FTX. Mismanagement of funds, low liquidity, and high withdrawals by users led to FTX's crash in 2022. A jury later found that Bankman-Fried illegally used money from FTX depositors to cover his expenses. Tech giant Amazon has announced a $2.75 billion investment in the artificial intelligence startup Anthropic. This is the firm's largest ever external investment in its three-decade history. The e-commerce giant had earlier invested $1.25 billion in Anthropic. The latest investment takes Amazon's total investment in the firm to $4 billion. Meanwhile, Amazon has been fined $7.8 million by Poland's consumer watchdog. The e-commerce firm is accused of misleading customers about the availability of its products and their delivery dates. The regulator said that it has received many complaints from customers who did not receive their orders. Amazon has said that it will appeal against the decision. Moving to sports, we start with cricket and the Indian Premier League. Sunrisers Hyderabad beat Mumbai Indians by 31 runs in a high-scoring encounter yesterday. Travis Head hit 62 off 24 balls, and Heinrich Klaasen blasted an unbeaten 80 off 34 to help Hyderabad post 277 for 3. Mumbai retaliated decently, and batter Tilak Varma stood out with his 64 of 34 balls. However, they finished on 246 for 5 in their 20 overs. The match between Sunrisers Hyderabad and Mumbai Indians saw a couple of records being smashed. One of them was the most number of sixes being hit in an Indian Premier League match. Both the teams produced a total of 38 sixes in the high-octane encounter. The total aggregate score of 523 was also the highest to ever be recorded in a T20 game. Australian all-rounder Marcus Stoinis and bowler Ashton Agar have lost their central contracts. They've been dropped from the list for the 2024-25 season. Stoinis was replaced by Marnus Labuschagne during the ODI World Cup in India and hasn't played since. Meanwhile, Agar played only one match last year. In football, Inter Miami owner David Beckham met with tennis stars Stefanos Tsitsipas and Paula Badosa. Beckham hosted them at the club's training facility yesterday. There, the tennis duo met Inter Miami members like Jordi Alba and Sergio Busquets. Tsitsipas and Badosa were also gifted Lionel Messi jerseys during the meetup. Meanwhile, Lionel Messi has said that his age won't be a deciding factor in his retirement plans. Messi, who currently plays for Inter Miami, will turn 37 in 3 months. In an interview published yesterday, Messi said that he will only hang up his boots when he's no longer enjoying himself or helping his teammates. In tennis, men's world number one Novak Djokovic has parted ways with his coach Goran Ivanisevic. Djokovic announced this yesterday on Instagram. Ivanisevic joined Djokovic's team in 2019 and helped him win 9 Grand Slam titles. Men's world number 3 Jannik Sinner is through to the semi-finals of the Miami Open. He beat Thomas Machach 6-4, 6-2 in straight sets yesterday. Sinner will next face Russia's Daniil Medvedev in a rematch of the Australian Open final. In badminton, Indian ace shuttler PV Sindhu entered the round of 16 at the Madrid Spain Masters 2024. She registered a comfortable 21-16, 21-12 win over Canada's Wen Yu Zheng. It took just 30 minutes for Sindhu to beat her opponent. She will next face Chinese Taipei's Huang Yu-sun. In Formula One, Mercedes boss Toto Wolff sees Red Bull's Max Verstappen as a prime candidate to replace Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen, a triple world champion, is currently on contract with Red Bull until 2028. But internal tensions at Red Bull have cast a doubt over Verstappen's future with the team. In basketball, the Phoenix Suns defeated reigning champions Denver Nuggets 104-97 in the NBA yesterday. Kevin Durant had 30 points, 13 rebounds and 5 blocked shots in the game. Devin Booker had 17 points and 9 assists in his maiden match against the Nuggets this season. This marks the Nuggets' second loss at the hands of the Suns in a month. In entertainment news, Prince Harry has been named in a $30 million lawsuit against rapper Sean Combs, popularly known as Diddy. The rapper has been accused of sex trafficking by music producer Rodney Jones. According to reports, the lawsuit does not accuse Prince Harry of any wrongdoing. However, his closeness to the rapper while he was indulging in his alleged acts is being questioned. Prince Harry first met Diddy in 2007 at a party in London. Leonardo DiCaprio and his rumored girlfriend Vittoria Ceretti might be engaged. The couple was photographed eating burritos in Los Angeles yesterday, and fans noticed a diamond ring on the model's finger. However, some reports said that Ceretti has had that ring for years. Hollywood actor Ryan Gosling has launched his production company with movie actor Jesse Henderson. The duo has also signed a 3-year first-look film deal with Amazon MGM Studios. The deal grants the studio exclusive first access to narrative features, which will also include Gosling in lead roles. Meanwhile, Gosling's partner, Eva Mendes, has opened up about her decision to choose motherhood over acting. Mendes says she had an unspoken agreement with Gosling where she takes care of their 2 daughters and he pursues his career. The 50-year-old stepped away from acting 10 years ago. Actor Florence Pugh is back in a Marvel movie mode. She shared a video on Instagram from the sets of Thunderbolts. In the clip, Pugh showed off her suit, giving Marvel fans a glimpse of what she would look like in the movie. The actor is set to reprise her role of Yelena Belova, which originated in 2021's Black Widow. Thunderbolts is set to premiere on the 2nd of May next year in the US. Actor Kristen Stewart has expressed a desire to join the Marvel Cinematic Universe. However, she said that this will be possible only when Barbie filmmaker Greta Gerwig directs the movie. Meanwhile, Gerwig had earlier expressed an interest in helming a superhero project. Gerwig is known for directing female-centric films. 4 times James Bond Pierce Brosnan has given his blessing to Aaron Taylor-Johnson as the next 007. He described Taylor-Johnson as someone who has the talent and charisma to play the next Bond. Meanwhile, George Lazenby, who played the character in 1969, also endorsed the 33-year-old. Last week, reports said that Taylor-Johnson has been offered the role of the 26th James Bond movie. Late Japanese pop agent Johnny Kitagawa allegedly abused nearly 1,000 boys. This is according to a new documentary, The Shadow of a Predator. It shows testimonies from men who were signed by Kitagawa's talent agency as young boys. The 87-year-old died in 2019 and was celebrated for his contribution to Japanese pop culture. However, allegations of abuse emerged after his death. His company was dissolved last year. K-pop star Lee Arim has been admitted to a hospital after a suspected suicide attempt. She was part of the K-pop band Tiara between 2012 and 2013. Arim married a businessman in 2019 and became a mother of 2 sons. However, last year she expressed her intention to divorce her husband. Twitch streamer Richard Tyler Blevins, also known as Ninja, has been diagnosed with skin cancer. He made the announcement in a post on the social media platform X. The famous gamer said his dermatologist determined that he had melanoma. This was after removing a mole on the bottom of his foot. Ninja made his debut on Twitch in 2011. Since then, he has rapidly risen to fame on the platform because of his viral gameplay sessions. That's all for this episode of Fast and Factual. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.